Hello. If you want to see how I got from here, just keep on watching. In all seriousness, I did just take a shower, I washed my hair, and I want to put on some makeup because it's still light outside. I am going to talk about Colourpop. This is the Sweet Talk palette. It's very pretty. Now I know you've seen this before because this palette isn't new. And I had looked at this palette several times before, but I thought, I'm so attracted to these colors that I'm pretty sure I probably have them. Because that's just how things work with me. If I like something, I'm attracted to it, I want it, I'm like, yeah, this might be the third go of these colors. But I took the plunge yesterday, partly because I'm trying to get a little bit more into drugstore makeup and getting away from the more expensive palettes because I haven't really given them a fair chance. And because I have been having some difficulty lately with things that blend well in my crepiness, and I thought, well, you know, why not? I'm sure I'm not the only person who's interested in drugstore, quote unquote, because this is from Ulta. And most of the people I see reviewing these are younger and they don't have the same kind of issues that us more mature ladies have. So I wanted to give a different point of view on Colourpop. And I got two palettes. This is the one I want to try today. Let's get into swatching, but first let me say I am the Hooded Lid and welcome to my channel. Let's start some swatches. Here is the first row. These are really pretty and they look a little different than I expected them to. Like the first color right up here, I didn't expect this to be as peachy. First row and second row, these glitters are really pretty, and I'm not a glitter girl. I don't care about glitters. They don't seem to be something that would work in my life, but these are very, very pretty. And here we have the entire color story. I think this is such a nicely designed color palette because not everything is the same color. Things are related to each other and complement each other, but I don't feel like, oh, these two shades are so much the same, they're not going to show any differently on my lid. That's what I'm thinking, but let's get into it and see if I'm right. I want to put on a little concealer before we get started because these colors, because a couple of reasons. I'm super red today. I just, well, yeah, I'm red. And these colors are kind of on the light side, and I don't want them to go from peach to red. I'm wearing the most emollient sunscreen I have, and it's been a while since I've worn it. I feel like, holy moly, I am shiny. I'm going to start with this color for my transition. And I need to put something on my lips, or I'm going to be pursing my lips the entire time. I'm going on nice. No problem at all. I am crepey as can be, but I don't see anything skipping or moving or having a hard time moving around or having a hard time depositing. They're behaving. They're doing what I want them to do. And the thing is, these don't feel, they feel soft. Not soft as in powdery, but they feel soft, but not, I wouldn't say they feel creamy per se, but they're kind of behaving like they're more creamier, not like the Natasha Denona cream powder. That is too creamy and too difficult for me to work with. But so far, so good. My first Colourpop. Yay! Now I'm going to go in with this color. I think I'm just going to slowly go deeper and deeper and see how that works out. This is such a pretty palette. I'm really excited. And I'm excited to finally try this brand, which I've always been curious about. Especially when they did that yellow palette a couple of months ago. I was like, yes. But I don't go to Ulta all that often. And the last time I went, I was informed that you have to go online to get it, that they don't carry the entire line of Colourpop, which is kind of a bummer. Because I really want to see things before I buy them. I think they did this really well. Oftentimes when there are colors that are very, very close to each other, You just don't see the difference from one to another, but this is enough of a difference to read. And the application that I'm using here is kind of the typical application that everybody does, where you get deeper and deeper and you do the outer edge. But if you've seen any of my videos before, you know that I oftentimes just like a hazy look all over the lid and maybe a couple of colors, but nothing that looks too distinct. And I do that because I'm hooded, but I also do that because I really like that kind of, you know, hazy colored look that isn't too specific. It's very handy for being hooded, but I do think it's kind of an ethereal look too. So let's go in with something a little darker. And I just kind of want to buff it in so it really adheres to the area as opposed to, you know, line it in. Now a little bit into my so-called crease area. In fact, I'm going to feel around my eyeball and try to get some depth that way. Something I've been doing recently for shits and gigs. So there's the eyeball. And now just a little bit of circular motions there to blend it. And windshield wipers for finishing. Blended very nicely. I'm really delighted. All right, next eye. Next eye is problematic. If you've never been here before, hi, I am the Hooded Lid. Thank you so much for being here. I have a fat pad right here. And this eye is a little more crepey. And the fat pad things don't look like they're adhering to, so it always looks a little lighter here. And then on the other side it looks a little bit darker, which I think is because it's acting as a mountain, so that's shade. But I also have sun damage here and here. And those add some interest, quote unquote, as well. So this eye generally looks like I want everything to look, and this eye is kind of like, okay, let's try to make it look even to the other eye. And it almost never does. So the goal is just to look even when the eyes are open. But here goes nothing. I'm going to try to feel for my eyeball. Very tricky on this eye. And some circular motions. Very light hand. And then some windshield wipers. I'm going to go back to this brush and I'm going to pull everything out and kind of lift up. Whereas if I left everything like this, I would feel that it pulls the edge of my eye down. And I don't like that. My eyes are almond shaped. They actually do go up, but because I'm hooded at the end, well, it tends to pull everything down. And I'm using that second color to do that. So not the lightest, the transition, but the second one. And I will point that out to you in just a sec. This color. I don't feel like I need to do a big blend, which I will often do with a brush like this, with translucent or with a cream color. But I do want this area to relate to everything else, especially since I'm red and shiny today. So I'm going to do it with this. This is kind of a peachy cream. It reminds me of a shell, actually. I'm not really getting much out of this. Okay. Okay. So generally, basically, I got nothing out of this when I used it with the brush, but with the fingers, very pretty. That is so pretty. I want to swatch that for you. I love this formula, whatever it might be. And put it right there. It's not a metallic, and it's not a glitter. It's just sparkling. Like when the sun hits the water and it has that glistening, sparkly stuff, that's that. And I've seen this in some other palettes. NARS has one. Bobbi Brown does this a lot. And I would love a whole palette of that kind of stuff that doesn't have a name. I am going to do something with this. I'm also thinking this could be a big mistake because dark colors on me, but I feel like I want to take the chance. Just a little bit. And I will say, and it could be the light in this room, but this palette, when I look at it, it's peachy pinky. These colors are not looking, they're looking, I feel like the look I'm getting isn't peachy pinky, it's peachy to rusty. All right, I feel that I need to just do my face now because the darkness under my eyes and the redness in my face, I really can't get a good idea of how this shadow is relating to everything else. So I will be back in a minute. I'm back, foundation, concealer, brows, check. While I was doing that, I was thinking this looks familiar. I mean, there is a reason I'm attracted to this, and I compared it to my Tropic palette and some similar colors, but not exactly. And I thought, okay, then I'm fine. And then I remember that I got this, and these are not dissimilar stories. This, of course, is the Natasha Denona Coral palette, and they have some similarities for sure. The Denona has this beautiful purple duochrome, lilac, lavender, whatever you want to call it. I did a couple of swatches. The center color here, the center color here are the Denonas, and I flanked it with colors from the Colourpop. So, if you're really kind of hankering for that coral palette, you could do it a lot cheaper with this Colourpop palette, but that purple color, the lavender color, you're not going to get here. However, if you have the Huda purple, the Obsessions, the small one, there's a color smack in the center that is similar to the Natasha Denona. Just a thought. Or you could say, well, they complement each other very nicely. And they do. I mean, look, these two colors are not exactly the same as this one. And these two colors are not exactly the same as this one, but they are super close. The Denona is a bit darker. And speaking of a bit darker, the sun is changing. I have such a small window to shoot in a fashion where the sun kind of stays the same for the entire time, and it's like I have to relearn how the timing is with the backyard and where the sun is, and it doesn't matter that I relearn it because every, week or so it changes again. So I want to apologize for that. I hope this doesn't look too incredibly different, but it is a few minutes, half an hour later. Maybe not even half an hour. I'm talking too much. While I was Ulta, I decided to get one of these blushes. I also tried while I was there a liquid lipstick. I found them to be drying, and I didn't love the color selection. It wasn't anything atypical. There was nothing in there that was like, ooh, I've never seen that executed exactly like such. You know what I mean? But this is part of another collection, and I like this color. It is a peachy pink, which right there, I think it just goes with this story perfectly. So I'm going to do it with my fingers. I imagine you could do it with a brush. That is so pretty. I don't even want to try it with a brush because I'm afraid I'll mess it up. Whoops. Okay. Now I'm getting fingerprints. Blend that. That's so pretty. I am tempted, and I am going to try this on my lips. I wasn't expecting that. There you go. I mean, it's fresh, it's pretty. It's not a color I would wear on my lips, but I would wear it and am wearing it and do like it on my cheeks. So let's just figure out what lip to finish this up with, and then we'll sign off with some conclusions. I think I want an orangey pink, which means I'm going to have to make it myself. So I'm starting with the orange. And this is Givenchy's Bolero. And then I'm going to do Amazing Grace from Charlotte Tilbury. I think this relates to it very nicely, but I think it might be a little matchy-matchy. There! Just a little dab. I think this is so pretty and fresh. And yes, it's spring, but who cares? You can wear it any time of year. Whenever you want, you can do whatever you want. Whenever you want, you can do whatever you want. Yes. All right. So there we have it, the Sweet Talk palette, and this is called Growth Flirt. How odd, but it's lovely. It's a lovely peachy color. This is a lovely peachy eye, and yeah, if you had been hankering for this one, but you couldn't see $45 for a 5-pan, I really think you should be considering this one. It's very, very pretty, very, very fresh. I'm very, very pleased. And that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you so much for spending a little time with me, and I hope I was able to offer you something of value, of course. How does this work on crepey eyes? Great. No problem. Can you get a look if you are hooded with this? Absolutely no problem. So passes my test. I want to thank you again for spending some time with me. I hope it was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. In the meantime, I am wishing you a great day.